Rick, today we're going to be talking about chapter 39. Love the title. No man or woman is an island. Thank you for including woman in that phrase.
Well, we know that that's the saying, right? No man is an island.
Right.
But I just had to write it. It's all encompassing. It doesn't work by saying everyone is not an island, right?
No,
you have to use the quote. It includes everybody.
And I was very happy when I saw that. So thank you. But, before we get into that, we have a new feature on our podcast show notes, and it's called Fan Mail. And you can see it when you go into our show notes. You can click a little button, and it automatically will send us whatever message you want to send us. And we got a really nice one from somebody in Kansas, and it's anonymous. He or she said, "I love the podcast so much. Thank you for all you do. It has inspired me so much." I love it. It really made me smile, Rick, because that's exactly what you tried to do with the book, and it's working. So there's your proof.
Thank you. I really do. I sometimes forget. This kind of sounds a little weird, but I forget what the whole purpose is. I get on there, I share the stories. We talk through the chapters of Tiger Whisker, and I still am on the outside looking in often and not realizing how it affects so many people. And I guess it reminds me when I'm doing the show every night and I'm standing there and I'm shaking hands as people leave the theater, and you'll have people in tears.
Yeah.
Wow, this was amazing. Wow, Rick, I can't believe what I've just seen. This was inspiring. Don't ever take what you say in your show out of your show. And it works. And then I kind of close the book and I drive home quietly, driving the dogs back home. And then all of a sudden my life comes flying back into my face, and I forget the world around me, and I go on. So yes, our own life can get in the way, and I often forget how many people that I have, I guess you could say, influenced. Also fascinating. It is a thought. I've been professional for a long time, and it's been basically about 45 years. And I've always gone out and shaked hands with people and had photos taken. And I think to myself now, man, I wonder how many homes my picture is in. I'm like, that starts blowing my mind. 24,000 performances in my career. And I'm thinking, wow, I bet you I'm in a lot of people's homes.
Yeah. If you figure you maybe take 35, 50 pictures after a show, maybe, I'm guessing.
Easily.
And you do that multiplication? Yeah. Holy cow. Oh
now, God. I know some people are trying to sell off something they've bought previously on eBay or whatever.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I don't know if it's still there, but years ago, I found on eBay. Sometimes I just do these random searches, middle of the night, you have nothing better to do. So searching up your friends. A lot of my friends are, in media, stars. And I put in Rick Damas, and they had a sign from, I think it was on the side of a bus in Las Vegas, one of yours. I was like, oh my God, what?
I don't even know where people get these things. And I agree with you. I'm like, well, one of the things that I hold on to that I've really appreciated, for those that know the news, the Tropicana officially closed and they're tearing it apart on the Strip as we speak. Oh, but one of the prized possessions I had performing at that particular venue is they created gambling chips with myself and one of my tigers on the chip. Oh, wow. So I was the $5 chip at the Tropicana. I thought it was pretty amazing. Like, wow, I made it. I'm a $5 chip in Las Vegas, right?
Yes.
And I actually have a few of those that I've held on to, and they're just something. Wow, I just think that's pretty amazing. And I was really glad that they had chosen to do so, and that I was that much a big part of the hotel, and that I was on every gambling table in that particular facility.
Well, we talk about, and we will talk about it later in the show, about gold and silver coins, okay? And how their value has increased. But I'm looking at one of your chips right now on eBay.
No.
I am. And
grab it. Somebody grab. Those are worth a lot. Whatever they're selling it for, they're worth more. Okay, I'm pretending maybe. I don't know what they're selling it for.
Do you want me to tell you?
Yeah.
It's you've I don't know the proper word for it, but you're 6 times value. You're 6 times.
So we
value.
$30? Is it $30?
It's $30.
Whoa! See, $5 chip.
Right there. But now, okay, so now See, I see you. Oh, you get me on eBay, and all kinds of terrible things occur because now I found something of yours that I'm going to buy because I want it.
Nah.
I have found one of your little stuffed tigers, and he signed. You signed the little card.
The card on the tiger.
Uh-huh. And he's on here, and I'm going to buy him. I'm going to buy him because I want him because he's adorable. I don't have one. I'm going to buy him.
Oh, this world's bizarre.
I know, isn't it? Let me see what I got to find out what state he's in. I'm just curious how far the little dude has traveled here from Las Vegas. Where did he travel to? He is in Cedar Springs, Michigan.
There you go.
There he is. So I am going to buy him later today because he's really, really, really cute. And you signed him, which I think is really cool. See, I
always made sure that all the stuffed tigers that I offered the public were the best of the best.
Yeah,
that they are.
great.
They're beautiful. Yes.
He's absolutely great. See, I'm really weird, and this is what people don't understand with me. I don't take pictures with my celebrity friends because they're my friends. They're not celebrities. Does that make sense?
It makes total sense.
Yeah, they're just my friends.
I'm the last person to ask for a photo.
Yeah.
I'm part of that world, and I know, it's nice. I'll usually walk up to them and give them a handshake.
Oh,
I'll
of
say,
course.
it's nice to see you.
Of course.
If there's somebody even in the industry who are not personally a friend, I don't want to really get in their face. I said, hey, it's great. Thank you.
Yeah.
It's nice to see you, and have a wonderful day.
Yeah.
Let it go.
I'm the same way. I am totally
And they're
the same way.
shocked. They're like, what? You don't
Yeah.
want a photo? What's wrong with me?
Yeah. And
Nothing's wrong with you. I just don't want to bother you.
right. I do that with my friends. I think I have one picture with you. And that's right when we met. And that was with baby Morpheus. But yeah, all my friends, don't you have pictures? No, I don't, because I just don't do that. So, but I will now have actually 2 white tigers, because I just found one of Chaos. So I will have 2 white tigers from Rick Thomas in my collection. So there you go.
Oh, I'm so honored.
Well, because they're really cute, and yeah, I like you. So
yeah,
there you go.
Somebody get out there, go on eBay and buy one of these chips. They've got to be, I mean, honestly, think about it. The Tropicana is no longer.
Oh my God, that's so sad.
And it is and it's a great chip. It's
beautiful.
One of my baby tigers and myself on this chip, and it's I'm very proud of it. So yeah, if you want anything that's nostalgic, that would be it. You're not going to get the Tropicana again. Nope. No more chips are going to be made of Rick Thomas in Las Vegas, from what I know. That's a pretty good souvenir.
I am not going to buy it right now. I'm going to let everybody have a first shot at it.
Okay.
And it's right there on eBay. You will find it. But speaking of the show, real quick, I want a blizzard update. How is the blizzard weather there in Branson, Missouri?
Blizzard has come and gone. No, he's still here. He's here at home. He's in a beautiful habitat here at our home, but he has grown. I kept telling everybody, you've got to come out and see the show as quickly as possible. I present the incredible shrinking dog.
Right. Great illusion.
And we take Storm and shrink him. And that's how I get them across the world, and traveling with them as I shrink them and make them small, and it's easy to travel with.
Makes sense.
Well, you need another dog. And this was Blizzard. And Blizzard is now 13 weeks old and just about 60 pounds.
Oh, my gosh.
And for most people, that's bigger than their normal dog.
Yeah, right.
This dog will go to at least 150 pounds. And now he's not.
He's 3
you put him up
months
to Storm, they're almost the same size.
He's 3 months
so
old.
There's no more shrinking going on. So it went from dog back to the cat.
Okay. All right. So we're going to have to wait until Blizzard grows up and gets back into the show.
He'll get back in the show. There's a great spot in the show where 2 dogs appear, and I'm just waiting for the moment to put Blizzard with Storm so that both dogs can appear at the same time. Right now, it's just Storm, and when both appear, it's just mind-blowing. So he's getting there, and when he does, he'll be right back in the show. But the incredible shrinking dog turns from a dog into a cat. And then I tell the audience, I'm fully aware that this is a cat, but he personally told me he's a dog.
Oh, well, there you go. He should know.
And with that being the case, and Loki, our beautiful, beautiful cat, fits perfectly into the show.
Oh my God. Oh, I can't believe he's 3 months old, 3 months and a week, and he's 60 pounds. Good luck. Good luck. Oh, that's all I can say. Well, Rick, let's talk about the chapter because this is a really cool chapter. There is that phrase, no man is an island, and you changed it. You added us ladies in, and we appreciate that. No man or woman is an island. Sometimes you feel like one, out there in the world. You really do. You feel like, you're all alone.
Yeah. I had a magician. There was a good magician friend of mine who, this kind of starts it out. You may not think it kind of fits being an island, but he never wanted to watch any other magicians perform. He didn't want to see anybody else's work. And he said, basically, I don't want to be swayed by their performance. I don't want to be inspired by their performance. I want to be inspired by my own accolades.
Okay.
I don't want someone else's work to cause my inspiration to be crushed, so to speak. And I always thought that was slightly bizarre.
Yes.
Thought process. That was his thing. He just, now whether he did that or not, and he just wanted to tell me he just didn't watch other performers because he just didn't want to be influenced. It affected me. And I remembered that line. And for that reason, that's where this chapter begins. And I always thought it was like the wrong way to progress.
I think so too.
I understand that you want to turn away from something that somebody else has done so you're not just copying them.
Right, of course.
But I really, truly believe, heart and soul, that we are all inspired by others. Originality is how well you hide your sources. So when you understand those lines and realize that creativity and becoming something great or creating something even better than something that's out there now comes from knowing what's going on around you.
Well, that only makes sense. I mean, when you started, you looked at other magicians. I'm sure you did.
I had to.
Of course.
I needed to learn.
Right. How
from
else
the
do you
best.
learn?
Right.
And
then there creates competition.
Uh-huh.
And that is huge. This is interesting. I was just listening to another bit of radio.
Okay.
And they were discussing like the mall system, malls.
Oh, shopping malls?
Yeah, which basically now have disappeared, by the way.
I know.
But let's go from the mall system down to basically two different companies competing against each other. So you've got the mall system, which you had, people didn't think it was going to work at first because if you have two shoe stores next to each other, that's competition.
Right.
Wouldn't it be better if you took one store and put it on one side of a city and a shoe store on the other side? So there was a lack of competition. Well, believe it or not, it's the opposite. And today, the conversation was take a Coca-Cola machine and put it there all by itself, and people will walk up and say, "Oh, that's that's Coca-Cola machine, and I may want a drink." If you put a Coca-Cola machine and a Pepsi machine next to each other, you say, "I want a drink, but which one?"
Right, you're making
and
a
they
choice.
have more a drive to now buy one of them rather than walk away and buy nothing.
Yeah, totally
and
true.
They found that both companies have prospered and made more money by actually competing right next to each other.
No, it makes sense. If you think about it, you take that analogy. And I remember going to Lakewood Mall a whole lot when I was growing up. Okay,
Yes.
right where we both
Didn't
lived.
we?
Oh.
Didn't we?
Oh, hey, I worked at Carousel's Snack Shop. If you remember that place, I did.
Like, it was so wonderful.
I did. When I was at Long Beach City, I worked at Carousel Snack Shop. But there were multiple shoe stores. And if you wanted to buy shoes, you'd go to one and check out what they had. And then if you were a smart shopper, like I always was, I'd go to the other and see if they had the same thing cheaper. But what that did was it drove me into that second store. And while there, I might not see what I was looking at the first store cheaper, but I might see something else.
Yeah.
And then what do? I buy that, and then I go back to the other store and I buy the first pair that they had that the second store didn't have.
It works.
It
and
does
now,
work. Yes.
when you talk about online shopping, and we all know it now, it's even more so in your face. When you click on an item and you look at that one particular item and you scroll down the page, what's at the bottom of it? It says, people who have looked at this item have also looked at this and this and this and this and that and the other. And they're all different makes and all different models and all different companies. And it's in your face immediately
Yes.
on one page.
And you never would have gone to those separate pages. You just wouldn't have
No,
done it.
never.
Too much work.
Never. And so everybody is prospering more because of it, because it's right there in your face.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the same concept. It's there. And you can easily see it online with online shopping as well. And that is a perfect example today of how it was with the malls previously with brick and mortar. And now you just click on one item. And the moment you do, you go down the rabbit hole.
Yeah. What a rabbit hole it is, too.
And you're like, okay, and I click here and I click there. Where am I going?
And 3 hours later, maybe you did buy something.
Yes.
But, in his not looking at other magicians, was he successful as a magician, just staying in his own head?
There was a point in his career where they were probably the strongest 15-minute act in the world of magic. So I'm not saying that they weren't extremely talented people. And that's why I say maybe he really did look at other acts. He just wanted to tell me some story just to puff him up and make him that much more amazing.
Maybe.
I come up with everything myself. I am this, I am that. The concept and the idea stuck with me. So whether or not that was a true or false story, at least it got me thinking about how important it is for us to actually join forces and work together and follow all our dreams together. I'm going to do 2 quotes right now because this is a big deal, a part of this chapter. So Albert Einstein was quoted, "The secret to creativity," and I said this basically just before, the secret to creativity is knowing how to hide your sources.
Right.
Okay. That's
that
Albert
phrase.
Einstein. Now let's quote Oscar Wilde. Oscar Wilde said, "Imitation is the sincerest form of flattery." You've heard that?
Oh, indeed.
Okay. I repeat again, imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. But do you know the second half of that sentence? This is so big to me. I'm not going to downplay other people's talents.
Right.
But this is what I see sometimes with individuals and why they're imitating others. His quote is, "Imitation is the sincerest form of flattery that mediocrity can pay to greatness."
Oh, my goodness. I didn't know there even was a second half. But that puts a different spin on things.
Yes, it does. Imitation is the sincerest form of flattery that mediocrity can pay to greatness.
Whoa.
And I read that as sometimes people imitate others because they need to or they can't compete.
Right. That's all they can do.
And I just read it and said, I understand it, and I'm not downplaying any other individual, but when you read it and understand, this is saying, wow, there are some pretty amazing people out there, and sometimes people imitate because they can't compete.
That's really true. Now that I'm sitting pondering it, that is really true. Have you ever had somebody copy an illusion?
Constant.
Really?
It's constant. I caught another magician backstage in the middle of the day. I go back, the stage is closed off, the public, everything's closed.
You're
closed
backstage.
down.
You're backstage. Your own backstage.
I'm backstage. Well, I go backstage during the middle of the day to check on something.
Okay. So
everything's shut down. The theater's closed. It's dark. I'm walking backstage and I catch another magician back there with a piece of paper in his hands and a pencil. And he's got it laid over the top of one of my illusions. And he's literally sketching.
Oh my gosh.
Sketching the illusion on the piece of paper.
Oh my God.
What? Shocking.
What did I know what I think I would want to do? What did you do?
I just said it's about time you leave.
Oh,
I think that was
said
about
a little more than that.
I just took away the paper and I said, you need to get out.
Oh
this is not right. This is not. Well, and this is also the 80s and 90s. So my words were probably, "That's not cool."
Yeah, I think there were a few more words included, but we'll let that go.
So,
oh my God.
So yes, imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. I think creativity is critical for all of us. There comes a time where somehow, in some way or form, we're going to be inspired and motivated to unleash our own potential. And that's what you want to do. So it's kind of scary, I know. But sometimes I find that, watching even often performers who are just literally copying those superstars that are out there.
Are you talking about tributes? Yeah, you are.
I'm not trying to say that they're not talented individuals. And this is a hard conversation to have with people who present cover bands or whatever it is. You can be pretty amazing at making yourself look like you are Elvis, for example. If you want me to bring up the number one performer that's imitated above and beyond all other entertainers, there are more Elvises in Las Vegas than you could ever imagine.
Oh, I know that.
And you'll find them at the grocery store. You'll find them getting their car fixed. You know, they're everywhere. So, and no one write me any hate mail right now. I'm just chatting about being yourself and finding a way for you to live your life your way rather than live somebody else's life.
I have to admit, when Randy and I got married, we had an Elvis wedding.
Okay.
Our first marriages, it had been the big Hazagaza, spend too much money church weddings, right? You know, where you, instead of putting a down payment on a house, you blow it on a wedding. We decided, being a little older and wiser, we weren't going to do that. We decided to do something fun. And we came up to Vegas. We had an Elvis wedding.
Yep.
And he walked me down the aisle. And he was very good. He was a very good Elvis impersonator. And when we got down there, after we exchanged vows, he sang, you know, a song for me as Elvis. It was fun. We didn't take it seriously. He did a fine job. But are you telling me, because I have not seen this, and you were in Vegas for so many years, living there 24/7, that these guys, maybe not him, but they run around doing errands as Elvis?
Oh, they never quit.
Oh my gosh.
They love the popularity that looking like Elvis brings them. They want to stand there and have a photo taken. They want to be noticed.
Oh my gosh.
And it is in their way, a way to feel important, and they find their space. So like I said, everybody has their own, they have their own way of being creative. They have their own way of enjoying their life and enjoying the ride that life is. I told a little girl the other night when I gave her the dream pin. I said, at the end of it, I said, now what are you supposed to do? And her parents standing right there, she goes, I'm supposed to follow my dreams. And I said, absolutely. And I said, the best thing I can tell you is just enjoy the ride.
Good girl. Good girl. It's always amazed me with people who do take on another persona. They're obviously talented people in music. Primarily, it seems to happen in music. They're really talented people. I have a friend who's an extraordinarily talented person. This is a guy who should be a big superstar. His talent says so. But it's kind of luck of the draw, right place, right time, a whole heck of a lot of luck. What do you say? Preparation meets opportunity?
Yep.
Okay.
Preparation meets opportunity.
Okay. Sometimes you just can't meet opportunity, darn it. You've done the preparation, opportunity isn't showing up. So he, a number of years ago, decided that he would become another famous celebrity, another famous rocker, Mick Jagger. I'll say that.
Right.
And of course, Mick is still with us, rocking his brains out. Go Mick.
Mick is 80.
Go
That's
Mick.
a big deal right now. Everybody in the news talking about he's 80 years old and he's dancing out there.
He's hot as ever. Love it. Go
like
Mick.
He's 79.
Go for it, man. If I'm doing that good at 79 or 80, I'm going to be on my knees praying.
Yeah.
Thank you. But my friend has dyed his hair. Because his hair was light. He's dyed his hair dark. He has changed his first name legally.
Oh.
To Mick. Okay.
See? You're going down that rabbit hole.
And in the process, he's lost, I don't want to say his real name, he's lost that person who is mega talented. He's just been like absorbed into Mick. And honestly, it breaks my heart. Because
he better not be listening to this podcast.
If he is, I hope he is, because I've said this to him.
Okay.
I have said this to him because his own talent was just so amazing as his real name. And he gave up on his dream of him being a music star, a rock star. And he's now morphed into somebody he's not. There's a sadness in that to me. There really is.
Well,
yes,
that's
he's
why
making
we're
a living.
discussing this briefly.
Yeah, he's making a living, but
I am not trying to, with this podcast, push too many buttons.
No.
I want this to be so positive. But these are the things I see. These are the things I see in the world by so many people not living their own life or their own potential. There comes a point where you've been inspired enough. Now try and be as creative as possible and do your own thing.
Be you. When I was learning broadcasting, I listened to everybody on the dial. And I would make notes.
Yes.
And I would take that on the air with me that night and I'd try, okay, they did it like this. Let me try that. Oh, that didn't work. Toss it. And, oh, okay, that kind of worked. Ooh, let me try it like this. Oh, now I've got my way.
That's right. I've got to
Yeah.
be me. I've got to be me.
Oh, he's going back to Broadway. Watch out.
That's right. You can't be somebody else. And that's the same with my magic.
Mm-hmm.
The way I move on stage, the way I dance between each illusion, my personality, it is such a dry humor. And people say, where did you get that from? Well, if I was watching other magicians, I wouldn't learn there. But when I was doing amusement parks and fairs in the industry, I had to deal with obnoxious little children by the hundreds.
Oh my gosh.
Jumping up and down in front of these open free stages and trying to control the public in front of me. I had that very dry sense of humor to try to control the crowds. But it was positive. I mean, it fits me.
No, it's funny. I know what you're talking about in the show. And it's funny. It's not snipey. It's funny. And it is you. And that's what's so cool. That's
I'm such. Can I say I'm a negative person? Maybe that's the best way to put it. Sometimes I'm a little too negative, meaning I
understand that.
I listen to people's lives and I listen to what they're doing, and I'll throw this little bit in just to let them know that I think they can do better.
I think not negative. I think hypercritical or critical.
Yeah, okay.
Critical is better than negative.
That's better
because you're saying something not to bring them down. Negative would be bringing them down, shoot them down. You're saying something to make them think about better.
I found it so difficult. In my 20s and 30s, I was pretty rough on my cast and crew. I had my own goals, and I tried to drag them through my life and the way I did my things my way. And it was a frustration because I realized at that point that everybody has a life.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody has their own goals. They have their ways of doing it. And I can't expect the world to center around Rick Thomas and just do it my way. Yes, it's my show. I want people to do things a certain way. But, I think that there was a time where I was just too aggressive with other people by not allowing them to just find themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And I was so critical. And so,
well, that's part of the learning process, Rick. You were learning how to run a show, all of that when you were very young. I was rough on studio people too. And I remember that. And a couple have called me out in later years about it. You were really when you were in your 20s. It's like, gee, I'm really sorry. I was just so fully intent on what I was doing, and I didn't want anybody else messing me up. And,
we are so into ourselves
Yeah.
that we forget that this is why this book was written. This is why I keep telling myself, and I take a hammer and hit my head with it as often as I possibly can. Rick,
Ouch.
you aren't the only person out there with dreams. You're not
Yes.
the only
Yes.
person out there who wants to succeed
Mhm.
with their joy in life. They're trying to find themselves just like you.
Mm-hmm.
And
Sure.
I push and I push and I push. I push my show. I push everything about it. And I have to step back and realize that you need to give respect
Mm-hmm.
to those who are putting their lifeblood into something.
Yes.
It may not
Yes.
be something that Rick Thomas agrees with or what I think is right or wrong. Does that matter? No. They're putting everything they have into it, and you need to back off and realize that they are truly doing everything they can to find joy in life.
It's their
I told that little girl, enjoy the ride.
Mm-hmm.
I tell everybody, I don't know what else to tell you. There is no look. What do we have to look forward at the end? Death.
Oh, gee.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
that's
don't.
something.
Well, come on.
No, it's true.
So what are we going to do? You have to enjoy the ride.
Yeah.
Stop living for tomorrow.
Mhm.
Live today and enjoy the moment.
Mhm.
I also find talking about copying people or being something great or grand. I see it in the car industry.
Yes.
I see it in the computer industry. I
Mhm.
really see it in cell phone
Oh,
industry.
Yes.
I also find it fascinating every year how close all the cars look to each other from different companies.
Mhm.
And I'm thinking to myself, how come the BMW and the Mercedes and this car and that car look so close? That's because they're spying on each other.
Yeah, indeed. Absolutely.
Right? They're learning from each other. They are
Mhm.
following the trends.
Mhm.
And when Apple created the new cell phone, the smartphone, it was amazing And then all of a sudden, what happened? Another phone company manufactured a phone that was actually better than the Apple iPhone. And then what happened the next year? Apple put out a phone that was better than the previous phone from this other company. So when you look at learning from others or gaining inspiration, being inspired by the creativity that's out there, what does it do for all of us? It makes life better.
Yeah, better products. If there was no competition, that original phone would probably still be the phone.
Yeah.
You know, it inspires people to make it one better. And we need that. Success kind of breeds that. So so competition is a wonderful thing.
Well, as individuals saying that they don't want to be tainted or influenced by watching anything else because they think that they can do it on their own, that's where I think the mistake is.
Yes.
That's your huge mistake. It's a lesson for all of us. Embrace other people's talents.
Yeah.
And then see where you can go to progress and do something even beyond.
It absolutely makes sense. You know, there's something in this chapter. I want you to tell this story because this needs to be told. This is such an important story in the chapter. It's about the play that you went to, a children's play.
I'm sorry, I'm laughing because I love my mother.
I've never met your mom, but I think she must be amazing.
But she is she applauds everyone. And
Okay.
and it never fails. She goes over the top. So watching a play, it was not a professional play. It was more like a high school play.
Okay.
And there was one performer struggling with his parts throughout the production. Well, actually, in any high school play, they're all struggling to some point.
They're learning.
We're all finding ourselves.
Yeah.
And at the end, when everybody was being greeted, my mother noticed that he was not receiving the praise that others were receiving by parents or friends or whomever it may have been watching that particular program. And my mother decided to walk up to this one individual and congratulate him, saying, "You were absolutely wonderful. You were the best. What an amazing performance." Now, there's no question or doubt that it brightened this young boy's day.
Oh, sure.
And I teased my mom afterwards and I said, "Mom, it's okay for you to tell him that you enjoyed their performance, but he really wasn't good."
Oh.
I'm sorry to say it that way, but I'm like, okay, you can be positive.
Right.
And you can tell people how wonderful they are in some way or form. But I always made it so funny because she just went out there and said, "Oh, you were like the best. You were this, you were that. You're the greatest thing on earth." And she'd tell her children that as well.
In a way, it's great. We all need affirmation that, yeah, we've got it. Because when you perform, you know this and I know this. And even if you're performing, not on a stage, if you're performing at work, you're creating a report, you're creating a project. You know, you're putting that thing out there and you're just hoping with everything you got that it's received well, you know, that you did a good job and people get it. So
and my mother was right. She should receive kudos for what she does for other people and how she makes them feel.
But
I appreciate my mother. I thank her for her example. I thank her for oftentimes where I'm not going to walk up to somebody and say, "Oh, you knocked it out of the ballpark."
See, I like to temper that because here's my thought. Because I'm one of the most insecure people in the world. I think I constantly need to know that I'm doing right. I still, even at this stage of my career, I'll put something out there and I go, "Oh gosh, is that going to work?" And you don't think when you're successful that people feel that way. A lot of very successful people feel that way. You've talked about before you go on stage, you're standing over there in the wings going, okay, got to get a good performance, right? You're giving yourself your pep talk, and you've done this how many thousands of times? Yeah.
It doesn't matter. I flip out before every show.
Yeah.
I just do.
Yeah. I listen back to things that I put on the air, and I think, is it good enough? Okay. My thought in the critiquing, if somebody does something well, I want them to know so they'll repeat it. But if they don't do something well, I want them to know that too, so they don't repeat it. If you overall praise, if somebody doesn't do something really well, then they're thinking, "Oh, okay, so I can just keep repeating that because it was well received." And if that thing that was, wasn't so good, then they're repeating something that isn't so good. You know what I mean?
That
Does it
goes
make
back
sense?
to one of our chapters, perfect practice makes
There
perfect.
you go. There you go.
You've
Exactly.
got to practice correctly, or you're never going to be
No.
anywhere near perfect,
No.
or at least heading in that direction.
But your mom probably changed that young person's life, because without that kind of support when they were feeling so down,
Yes.
they may never have tried anything again.
I know. I'm aware.
She did.
Look, I probably am wrong. No, I know I am wrong by always bringing it up to my mother and saying, "Do you remember back when you did this?" Because she was right, and I was just hesitant, and just going over and at least sharing with that young boy how proud I was for him to even be on stage.
Right.
In fact, that's a question that I have in the chapter that we're reading right now, and the question is, do you want to be on stage, or you just want to sit in the audience and watch? People need to look, life is a stage. You need to be out there. And yes, you can sit there and just chill and just watch everybody else do grand things, or you can be part of it. And he at least went out there and stood on that stage and wanted to be part of it.
Gave it what he had.
And be on stage. So find yourself. You need to look at the world around you and learn from it and grow from it. Don't be a person who just thinks that you can do it on your own, or a person who just wants to sit around and just do nothing. This world we enjoy, I say it every show, at the end of my show, we enjoy our lives today because of the dreams that people had before us.
Very true.
And without these people dreaming, without these people doing things and being creative and coming up with these amazing things we enjoy today, we wouldn't have the lives we have.
No.
So you've got to get out there, be creative. And the final words I say is, when I say it, you've got to follow your dreams, not only for yourself, but for the rest of our future. And then I say, thank you so much for sharing in mine. Because they sat there. Oh, those poor souls. They sat there for 2 hours watching my show. I was teasing a fine gentleman. I brought a gentleman on stage just last night. And you're going to hear a little bit of my sarcasm. Okay. So as I was bringing them up on stage, a gentleman yelled back at me, "It's his birthday today." Oh. And I go, "Everybody has a birthday." Oh. And that's my way of just saying, okay, it's his birthday. What do you want us to do? Do you want us to sing him happy birthday? But the guy really wanted to let everybody know it was his birthday. Yeah. And then when I got him on stage, I said, "Wow, it's your birthday. Really? And you chose to be at my show on your birthday? What are you thinking?" Aww. I would have found something so much grander to do. And everybody's laughing because they're realizing that they had an amazing evening. But that's my sarcasm. Wow, you chose to be here on your birthday? What are you thinking? So it worked. And I was able to reverse it, and it worked. But yeah.
I think your show would be a fine birthday present. Just saying.
Oh. Thank you.
No, seriously. I have not seen the show in, oh my God.
It's been a long time. The only time we get to even talk to each other is here. You're on the West Coast. Yes. I'm in the middle of nowhere in the United States.
You're in Middle America.
Yeah, that's right.
And fix that for you.
And we chat with each other, but you haven't seen the show live for a very long time.
I know. And I guarantee it is even though I haven't seen it in a long time, I saw it many, many times when you were in Vegas. And it is a wonderful 2 hours. So don't let Rick deter you. Go to the show when you're in Branson, or go to Branson and go to the show, whichever comes first. Seriously, it is a wonderful 2 hours.
I can promise you, I do promise everyone, even from the beginning, when I go out there and begin the production, I'm going to give you more than you expect. And I can see people's eyes out in the eyes. Yeah, right.
Heard that before.
I said, oh, no. I know what you're about to see. I'm going to blow you away.
And if you've seen the show, I'm gonna let a little secret out here. You're putting a new illusion in. There's something different. There's something new. So if you've seen it before, you haven't seen it now.
We're always changing it out. I've always loved the motorcycles in the show, whether they appear or vanish. And we're bringing back a vanish of the motorcycle. But I have a beautiful, I can tell people up front here, an LED wall that plays behind us. And I just really appreciate the creativity Here's the word, creativity that I watch with other shows and what people do with their graphics and their video production within their show. So before I make the motorcycle vanish, I am in the center of the stage with the video LED wall playing behind me as though I'm driving down the strip in Branson.
Okay.
And all of the theaters and all of the restaurants are flashing by me, driving the motorcycle. So I'm literally just sitting there dead center in the theater, but the entire Branson, the flavor of Branson is flying past me. Cool. And the audience gets to experience because they're in Branson as well. Right. They see everything that I'm driving past in the motorcycle, like, oh, I've been there. Oh my goodness, I know that. And then I hoist myself in the air and then I vanish. So this whole new recreation of this effect and being able to make it homegrown, so to speak, with some modern technology, I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And we're putting that together tonight. I'm busy putting it together. And the moment I finish this particular podcast, I'll be running down to the theater and seeing what I can do.
And I want people to also know, this is a question I've gotten before with the helicopter. And now I'm going to bring it over to the motorcycle. This is a real, honest to gosh motorcycle. This is not some, Hollywood prop that you could knock over if you blow on it.
It's the real deal.
It's a real honest to God motorcycle.
Yes, actually, engine and all. We start the motorcycle, drive the motorcycle. And then when I vanish, I reappear in the audience on the motorcycle and I drive the motorcycle through the audience. Through the audience, park it at the front of the stage, jump up on stage with my beautiful ladies, and hit a final pose. Ta-da!
Now I want to see this even more.
It's a nice piece. It's a good piece, and I think with the addition of the play on Branson, it's going to be a lot of fun. Those are the kind of things that I bring to the table, and I think that it kind of works. There's only so many things that we can create and come up with, but creativity, originality, thinking it through and doing something a little different, I think this will work.
Okay, so something new. If you've seen the show, you haven't seen the show. One of the things that's important to talk about, Rick, we talk about making your dreams come true. We all want to do that. But it's, you need some things for that to occur. It doesn't just happen magically, unfortunately. We wish we could snap our fingers and make it happen. You're pretty good at that, but the rest of us aren't. Money. Finances. I
watched a guy, and we all learn from each other. This is in your face. If you're not watching television, if you're not listening to what's going on out there, you need to put your ear to the ground and realize that our economy, our economy, as we all know, is extremely struggling right now. It's costing us so much to survive. I took my family out to dinner just last night and just about fell over with the final bill. And that's crazy. Just because the restaurants have got to survive as well. So I'm really into gold and silver and buying precious metals because there's something that is tangible. If you don't hold it, you don't own it. I watched a gentleman literally, couldn't believe he did it, take $100 bill, a piece of paper, right? That $100 bill. And he took it and torched it. He burned it.
Oh my gosh.
On camera. And the guy's going, "What are you doing? That's $100. And he says, "I understand." He says, "But I don't know how to make this point." So he lets the entire bill burn, $100.
Whoa.
And he said, "Before I burned it, you thought I had $100. Now, that $100 is only as good as what our government says it is. And right now it's worth about 3 cents on the dollar.
Yikes.
So our money is worthless and it's only perceived. And before he burned it, he had the $100. He could have gone and spent it on something. But the moment he burned that $100 and it became ashes, it was worthless. There was no more $100 there. Right. It was gone and you can't get it back.
No.
It's history. Zero. And he burned it, simply burned it, and it's gone. And that's the point. You think you have money, but that money can be gone in an instant and it's really worthless. And some of the greatest assets that you can obtain today is precious metals, gold and silver, have something of worth that never loses its value. In fact, right now, gold and silver are skyrocketing. And I look back on the few years that I've started to collect precious metals and what they're worth now. And I'm like, cha-ching. So I don't know how else to tell you other than I am thrilled to share my thoughts on it. I'm thrilled to share my story, how I learned about it, what it's doing for my life and for my family. And that's a big deal as well.
Easy to do, too. Rick will actually call you and talk you through this and explain everything you want to know. mansionofdreams.net/wealth. That's the website you go to. Simple form. You fill it out. Take less than 30 seconds, probably. Depends on how fast you type. Simple form. Submit it right there on the site. Rick will call you up, explain how this works, how you can get involved in it, and why you might want to think about doing it. It's really pretty simple. And no, you don't have to be rich. Just throw that out there. Get rid of that question.
No. You start by buying one silver coin, so to speak. One ounce piece of silver, 1 10-ounce piece of silver, 1 ounce piece of gold. Now, I will tell you, 1 ounce of gold right now is about $2,400.
Oh, my goodness.
And I've seen it fluctuate. When I started purchasing gold, it was even at like $1,900. And right now it's just going up and up and up. Wow. But whether it be gold or silver, and that's why when you see somebody holding a brick of gold and they're like, wow, because that brick of gold is worth like 70 grand.
Wow.
Just one small brick of gold.
So
it's kind of, it's exciting. It's very difficult to take your hard-earned $100 bills and turn them into real assets. But when you do, and you realize that you have something of worth rather than something that just can be poof and it's gone, that's a big deal. And all of a sudden it drives you. So, and it's just part of my life. Is it my entire life? Absolutely not. I have investments in so many different directions. And I'm just saying that diversify your portfolio, and gold and silver and precious metals should be part of it.
Again, easy to do. mansionofdreams.net/wealth. And your phone will ring at some point, and Rick Thomas will be on the other end, and you can ask him all the questions you want. He'll be happy to tell you the story. I love this. This is wonderful, Rick. So again, just telling people, get out there, do your thing.
Do your thing. And remember, name of the chapter was, and still is, no man or woman is an island, and we need to do this together.
Perfect.